Welcome back to the workshop.
Welcome back.
In this week's episode, we're going to be finishing off the pedal box.
Let's get into it.
My name is Oliver, and this is my dad, Andrew. He's a wicked engineer and my next door neighbour. We've always wanted to build a car together and make your own gear knob kit. There you go.
This might take a while.
Building a car and making memories with my dad. One of one, this is Project Mosquito.
We'll start the day nice and calmly. We'll just put some pedals on.
Remember last week when we started the day nice and calm when we ended up fighting with turning pedals for hours?
Well, never mind, but we've done them now. We've got pedals, so let's fit them.
Yeah. Now, in last week's comments, a few of you mentioned putting the bolt in the centre of the pedal. This was just for aesthetics. We weren't actually going to do that because it won't work for every pedal. However, you've twisted our arm, and for the pedals that it will work for, we are going to put the bolt in the centre. Actually, not this one. It won't do for this one. But they're not a matching set anyway. They are. They're like knife, fork, spoon. They're not a matching set as in 3 identical pedals. So yeah, why have 3 identical methods of attachment?
Noticed?
Oh, pretty. So you've drilled it out to get even more?
Countersunk it out bigger, yeah. Yeah, so this morning I came into the workshop a little bit earlier and I've countersunk these bigger because they looked a bit
chunky.
A bit chunky and they just needed to be bigger.
Yeah. Well, this morning Dad came in early and you've sorted out this throttle pedal.
Yep.
Clutch pedal even.
Clutch pedal. Yeah, this is the throttle, Oliver. This is the throttles. Yeah.
Knife, fork, spoon. And you've countersunk these deeper, yeah?
Yeah.
Just to get rid of a little bit more weight.
A little bit more weight. Doesn't remove any strength whatsoever. and it just looks nicer.
Oh, and spun round the spindle, yeah?
Yeah, because when I might put it in the car and found out that the side with the 2 lock nuts on was really difficult to get to. So I just took it through 180 degrees and put it back through that way, and it's much easier to get to this side now. And also the nuts, the actual clamp nuts, are up against a solid mount rather than being up against a thrust washer.
Yeah.
So it actually pushes against this rather than pushing against a thrust washer, which makes it much smoother.
It preloads better, there's less friction, it's...
Yeah, and it's still, everything's super nice.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've tightened them up too tight now.
And it's not got any grease in it.
Yeah, just hold the pedals in place so we can film it.
So we're drilling a throttle pedal?
So I'll drill the throttle pedal, and you can clean that up if you want.
Yes, because you've been at it with the floppy disk, and it's a bit. In fact, I can do both. This is a thing, right? Yes, we drilled them when we made the pedals, but when you've got fittings and fixings and hardware to put into something, you can only go so far. And then later on, when you've got all your screws in place, because the last thing you want to do is drill a hole and then find out that a bolt needs to be there.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, when your fittings and fixtures are all in place, then you can take it back further. Speaking of leaving a bit of extra material where you don't need it, get rid of that and smooth this off like this. Because I don't know if you can see those 2 profiles are different. I made a little template of the profile of this pedal on the back by just putting a piece of cardboard on there and drawing around it. And then I popped it on here and replicated it, and that's pretty close. By the time I've got all the scratches out and stuff, it'll be dang near identical that. And obviously I drew it on both sides. Have you said that this crank arm's, what is a crank arm? This throttle pedal is made of 7075 T6.
Yeah, you can tell when you machine it's superb.
It's beautiful. Right, a lot of cycling stuff, and one of the reasons why I chose a crank arm for the throttle pedal is a lot of bike components are made of 6061 for the cheaper stuff, but the very, very high-end bike components are all made of 7075 T6, which is aerospace grade aluminium, and it cuts beautifully. It's also super strong. I'm massively happy with how good that looks. It's superb. And it's not even polished yet. It looks fantastic. It reminds me of my McLaren F1 pedal box, which I suppose isn't a bad thing. How it's got the chunky clutch and brake and then the super skinny throttle pedal. I think it's titanium in a McLaren F1. Yeah, love that. It just goes with the shifter. If you haven't seen the shifter before, there'll be a link to that video at the end of this one. So if you're brand new to the channel, don't worry, you've got a lot to look forward to. So yeah, consider subscribing because we are on the cusp of 15,000 subscribers. That's our next milestone. And thank you to everyone that's helping us get there. And while I'm thanking people, a huge thank you to our first of our Slicks tier Patreon members, Andy Wood. If you'd like to become a member of our Patreon like Andy, where you can unlock spoilers, deleted scenes, we every now and then do a little like Q&A thing, photos of like how we're doing as we're going along, then just like Andy, you can become a member of Patreon. The link is down in the description. Thanks, Andy. So, Dad, what's next?
So now we need to bolt the master cylinder frame to the rest of the pedal box, so it's all one complete unit.
So it's actually a pedal box?
So it's actually a pedal box, not some master cylinders and some pedals. They need to be as one. I need to make it idiot-proof now, because it's very easy to put this on the wrong way around. And obviously I don't want to mark it out, drill it all, screw it all together and find out master cylinders don't fit. So now we've made it idiot-proof, because we need to.
We're going to have to just get one in first, aren't we?
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, we'll get one screw in first, and then we can clamp it all up.
Tapping a blind hole with a fine tap is very difficult to do.
Yeah, especially with aluminium, Because it tends to, you've got to make sure it doesn't clog up.
Everything that you cut in drops in the bottom of the hole, and then it can grab the tap. One of the hardest pieces to make on the entire car, because everything had, this is as difficult to do as the front suspension geometry was, because absolutely every single one of these holes needs to be exactly perfect, not to itself but to where every single other hole is, and the chances for a compound error and the chances for anything to go wrong or snapping a tap, because don't forget that not only do these have to be perfect, but all of these holes have to be perfect as well. The chances of something going wrong was...
Showing this one.
Yeah. Because this one has to be right to this. For years and years, I've watched people making bike frames using pieces of old sanding belt, and I've always thought, that's a nifty idea. And I know why they do it now, because it really works. And I'll never throw a sanding belt away ever again until I've done this with it and it's completely dead. Because for putting a radius on something that's aluminium, it's absolutely superb. Absolute uniform radiuses. Until that happens to it. There's absolutely no chance I can get this all perfect without wet sanding it and stuff. So I'm not going to go crazy yet. I'm going to wait until I've got all my kit, and then I'll spend probably a couple of days with some sandpaper and a bucket of warm soapy water. And I'll go over all of this and I'll polish it perfectly and I'll make it all beautiful. Yeah, we'll get there, but it'll take some doing.
this is free to move. So when we adjust this, it adjusts the position of these two, which connect to the master cylinders. It then gives us our brake bias. So obviously if you bring one all the way in, it'll bring one all the way out. So it either put loads of brakes on the front or loads of brakes on the rear, depending on which way around the master cylinders are. Just going to put a bit of grease on these. There we go. Once again, this is just a dry build, just to show it all together, show it all fits.
Well, it's not just that, it's nice to have it for the next stage of planning. You need it all together, don't you?
Yep.
So it's one of them things we're going to end up taking it apart and putting it back together a lot. Well, Dad, once again, we've made car parts look like expensive kitchen equipment.
Yeah, it looks like a Lassie could have made it.
Yeah. Next week, a lemon juicer. But like we both like our fancy kitchen equipment, so I don't think it's a surprise.
I think we're both magpies because we both like shiny things.
But it's gorgeous. I'm really happy with it, and it's reasonably lightweight. I mean, it's not featherweight, obviously, because it has to be so strong.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed how stiff something like this has to be,
Yep.
and it does need a base plate yet that will go underneath and it'll all attach to.
Yep.
And if we had only me driving, we'd now be able to.
No, if only had us.
Yes, we'd now be able to bolt it straight into the car. But unfortunately, we have tiny people that want to drive this car as well. So we've got to make this pedal box sliding somehow. But super happy, and it's been a ton of work, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it really has. I was surprised. I thought, a week or a week and a half, we'd have it nailed.
You started this video by saying, we'll do something easy. We'll attach the pedals. That took a day. But like this is so much work getting every single one of those bolts. I cannot like stress enough how much work has gone into that. But it's fantastic, and it's not quite polished up and gorgeous yet, but it will be. There's a little bit of gorgeous happening, but it'll get there.
Yeah, it's super strong, super robust, really well. Well, I'm blowing my own trumpet. Really well constructed.
If you don't say so yourself.
Yeah, but yeah, I think, and it also complements the gear shift.
Dad, I think you've earned the right to be proud of your work.
But
we're always really careful of trying to sound humble and trying to but obviously we've made it and we love it,
yeah.
And that's fine. Just like it's all right to have a piece of jewellery.
Yeah.
Like we both love our watches, right? And I think a lot of men are concerned about owning something pretty and admitting that they like something just because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But actually, I like it because it's beautiful.
In fact, it's called jewellery.
Yes, it is. It really is. And I love it. So tell us what you think down in the comments below. I know there's a lot of you that have been like, best pedal box ever in the comments. And I'm like, But by the end of this, I may have to agree. But yeah, I love it. Absolutely super happy with it.
Yep, still lots to do. Obviously, we've got a gusset at the back, we've got a base plate to make, we've got the sliders, we've got a plate that goes on the back for the
stops.
For the throttle stop and the clutch stops.
Yep, and we need somewhere to put our feet because our feet go on top of here.
Yeah, but it is it's a silky smooth action. You know,
Yes.
I like it. It feels good.
If you've enjoyed this episode, then make sure that you click that like button because it is the bestest, freest thing that you can do to help support us making these videos for you free of charge, as well as sharing these videos with your friends on the social medias.
Yep, and we also have a Patreon. If you'd like to join that, you're more than welcome.
Yep, for the price of a chocolate bar, you can unlock deleted scenes, extras, and not just for this episode, but for everything that we've made on there so far, which is like hours of content. I even made a video with Miriam where we sat and we talked about what Miriam thought when we rolled this out of a van.
Yep.
And of course, tell us what you think down in the comments.
So thanks all for watching. Be awesome to each other.
And we'll see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.